Are you fed up with shading and getting white marks in between your pencil marks? Have you been trying for ages to try and achieve a smooth effect but fail miserably? In today's clip, I will show you the resources that I use to achieve smooth, effective pencil blending with colour pencils, and I will show you the techniques that I use in order to achieve those results. So let's get on with the tutorial. So first I'm going to talk about the paper I'm going to be using in today's demonstration, and I will be using the Strathmore Bristol Smooth Surface. The reason I like to use this with either graphite pencil or colour pencil is because of the smooth surface. You tend not to get the white gaps when you are shading. And then I will talk about the pencils I'm going to be using. For the tutorial today I will be using Prismacolors. I'm going to be using warm colours for the blending, just to show the transition between the different shades. A few things to mention before we start talking about layering, which is our first technique, and that is when you are building up your layers, build the shading up in light layers and build it up gradually. You should also make sure, and this is why I mentioned the pencil sharpener, they are a really important factor in your colour pencil shading. You must make sure that your pencils are sharp, and before I started my shading I made sure all my pencils were sharp before I started, because I don't want to have the hassle of keep going back and sharpening them. And also you can see that I'm holding my pencil on the side. Don't hold the pencil at the tip, because if you do you won't be able to control the pressure. So this first method is the method that I would suggest that you try to master first, as it's a foundation to all of the other blending methods. You need to gradually layer the colours up without applying too much pressure. As I said, I am holding this pencil at the side because I don't want to be pressing down too hard with my pencil. And this grip is called the overhand grip. If you want to find out more details about how to hold the pencil while shading, there is a clip about how to hold the pencil while drawing, and I'll put a card just above. So you should not add too much pressure, otherwise you're going to get harsh lines, and that will show up in the final drawing. If you don't put down enough pressure, your image will look faded and dull. So it's a case of practicing and getting the right technique before you move on to the other methods. Layering is good for all beginners, and it's easy to create an interesting effect. So have a look at how I've added the layers with these 4 different coloured pencils, and as I say, this is a good one for you to practice and get right before moving on to all the others. You will see that with all of the other methods, this has been the foundation to all of those other methods. Burnishing is a term used to describe adding several layers as well as a lot of pressure to create a smooth effect. You could think of it as the next level of layering. With each layer, the pencil will require more pressure to stick to the paper. Burnishing will require more time than layering, but will make your work look more professional. This technique is perfect for still lives and skin tones. So there are a few companies that offer this type of pencil, but today I will be using a Derwent pencil blender. This method is similar to blending with 2 exceptions. 1, you don't have to add as much pressure with your colours, and 2, it allows you to smooth lighter colours together without affecting the colour itself. So with this technique you just layer your colours as usual, then smooth out the colours by applying the blender on top. Because of this control, this medium is perfect for eyes and skin tones. This is a method that is essentially burnishing, but instead of burnishing with colours, you find a neutral colour such as white or light grey to blend the colours. Now, because I'm working with wax-based colours, I'm going to use white, and the white Prismacolor pencil I use for a lot of different things. I find that this pencil is very opaque, so it really is useful for a lot of things, and I'm going to use this to be doing my saturation burnishing today. You burnish in the same ways that you would normally, and you need to choose a lighter neutral colour to burnish over the top of your colours. So you need to start by firstly layering your colours as you would have done in your first sample. This method is useful if you want to create realistic colour pencil work, and is also good for skin tones. So it's really important
when you are blending,
when you
go
are
using
your burnishing pencil. So you will notice when I start blending on the top right hand side in a moment, watch out for how smooth it is. So the last technique that I'm going to look at today is using solvent. So you blend your colours in exactly the same way, and then you brush the solvent on top. Now today I'm going to be using a solvent called Zest It, and the reason I like to use this solvent is it's not as toxic as some of the others, which means it's much easier to work with. So the way that pencil blend works, and other solvents, is that it breaks down what are called binders in the coloured pencils. Now, a binder is the substance that holds together the coloured pigment in the pencil. And you heard me saying earlier that you have wax-based pencils, oil-based pencils, you have Caran d'Ache Luminance, which is a mixture of waxed and oil-based. And what the pencil blend does is it breaks down that binder and makes it into essentially a liquid. Not so much a liquid, but it blends it so that it makes it more liquid and blendable, and it moves the pigment around the page. So this method does not require as many layers as burnishing. However, you will need to add some layers before you start adding your pencil blend. And before you start applying the solvent, ensure that you have added enough layers of pencil to your paper, as this can sometimes make the layers look uneven. Now you'll notice here I'm starting to add another layer of pencil, because sometimes you will find that you will add your pencil blend and it will show white areas. That's fine. Sometimes you'll need 1, 2, 3 layers until you've completely covered it. With this selection of colours, I found that I needed 3 layers, so I had to apply my colours and wait for the pencil blend to dry fully before applying the next layer. If you enjoyed this clip, then make sure you check out more clips like this in the Colour Pencil playlist. Don't forget to look in the description below for details of products used in today's clip. And if you have any ideas for content or questions, then leave a comment below. Finally, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified of future content.